Hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle here. About 2 hours ago I recorded a video about Grand Theft Auto 3 being released to the PlayStation Network today, July 31st. But about 10 minutes before it was done uploading to YouTube, they actually released an article stating that they had delayed the release date. So it's not being released today. They have no release date yet. So I'm still going to play the video though because I talk more so about Grand Theft Auto 3 and games being released to the PlayStation Network. And I actually checked the PlayStation Store to see if it's there yet, and it's not. So here's the video. Just the official release date is wrong. They don't have one yet. So here. Hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle here, and today I would like to talk about one of my favorite games of all time, Grand Theft Auto 3. Doesn't that just send a chill down your spine? Grand Theft Auto 3, one of the most amazing games ever made, such a revolutionary game, and heck, Grand Theft Auto might just be the greatest gaming series of all time, even including Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, which were a completely different style of game because they were top-down view, were just so different, unique, and edgy for their time. And so much fun. Obviously not as much fun as Grand Theft Auto 3 and its later installments, but such an awesome series. So the reason why I'm singling out Grand Theft Auto 3 today is because today, July 31st, 2012, is the day that Grand Theft Auto 3 is being released on the PlayStation Network. That's right, you heard me right. GTA 3 is being digitally released to the PSN. Now, that is something to rejoice about. Before I can continue though, I have to say that I am a huge physical copy kind of guy. If it's digital only, most chances are I will not pick up the game. I like owning the game. The only time that I buy a digital game is if I hear really good reviews about it and it looks interesting, I might pick it up. But other than that, I like holding the game. I like, you know, smelling the game, the disc, or the cartridge, and the manuals. Man, manuals. Heck, with Grand Theft Auto, you get a map of the entire city because it's so freaking huge, and an entire color manual. Look at all these pages and all that information. Like, my goodness, that's what I miss about like old school games. So anyway, the one good thing though is that as much as I like physical copies, I know that these games will not last forever. In 10, 20 years from now, when I get that Grand Theft Auto itch, this disc might not work anymore, and I'm going to have to use the digital copy, which, you know, at that point, it makes sense. And another thing too is that apparently today they're releasing Grand Theft Auto 3, and they have talked about releasing Vice City. And one can assume if these two do well, they will also release San Andreas. So we will have the entire Grand Theft Auto trilogy from the PS2 era, you know, available digitally for the rest of our lives. And that is something awesome. Now, one thing I will like to mention though is that I have checked the PSN and it's not there yet. So they still have another few hours before the day is done. But it's not there. I looked in the latest games, like the newest releases, they weren't there, and let's just quickly show you. Okay, so they have, starting with the G's, Grand Slam Tennis 2, which is, you know, it's very much like Grand Theft Auto. That's why it's also right beside it, because, you know, other than, you know, hitting a hooker with a bat, you're just actually hitting a tennis ball with a racket. Other than that, the games are very, very similar. Then you have Grand Theft Auto 4. The Chinatown Stories, is that what it is? Episodes from Liberty City Stories, and Vice City Stories, and then after that goes to Grandia and a bunch of other games. So it's still not there yet, but they still have the rest of the day. And you know, if it's, I haven't heard that they're canceling it or they're postponing it, so it just could be that they're a little bit late. And it is being released all in North America. Although I'm in Canada, so maybe they just meant like the States. So that could be it. That might be why they're not there. But, you know, one could assume that eventually, if it does well, which it probably will, it'll be released in other regions as well. And then possibly Vice City, and if Vice City does well, one could assume San Andreas. But the only thing is that these are being released just as the game itself as a classic. So it's going to be, you know, $9.99, but no trophies or HD. Now that is something that I would love to see. I would love to see an HD remake of these three games. Even just one of the, I would rather Vice City, but Grand Theft Auto 3, you know, there's just so many memories with that game. And I like the idea of HD games. I really don't buy any. I think the only one that I have is the God of War 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 3. That's the only HD collection that I have. But if they made a trilogy of these, I would totally pay even $60 to have them all in HD first day. So that's my news for today. Awesome, awesome news. Hopefully it's released very soon. And I think I'm gonna go play some Grand Theft Auto. Talk to y'all later.